Continue reading Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 35. Eko api aso rachayutum jagad andakotim yat shakti rasti jagad andachaya yad antha andantarastha pramanu chayantarastham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe. At one and the same time, such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. Krishna is the highest of all entities. In him is an entity which is termed Chit spiritual, which is distinct from the principle of limitation. By his inconceivable power, he can at will create a numberless universes. All the mundane universes owe their origin to the transformation of his external potency. Again, his abode is beyond human conception, since all worlds, limited and spiritual, Chit exists in him, and he resides simultaneously in his fullness and entirety, in all the atoms, in all the worlds. All pervasiveness is only a localized aspect of the majesty of Krishna, the Lord of all. Though he is all-pervasive, yet in his existence everywhere in a medium shape consists his spiritual lordship beyond human conception. This argument favors the doctrine of simultaneous inconceivable distinction and non-distinction, and knocks down the contaminating Mayavad and other allied doctrines. Yad bhava bhavita diyo manujas tathaiva samprapya rupa mahimasana yena bhusa suktairiyam yeva nigami pratithai stuvanti govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas, by gaining the appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments. In discussing Ras, we meet 5 kinds of devotion or service: Shanta or unattached, Dasya or pertaining to reverential willing service, Sakhya or friendship, Vatsalya or parental love, and Shringara or juvenile love. The devotees, surcharged with the ideas of their respective service, serve Krishna eternally and untimely, ultimately reach the goal of their respective ideals. They attain the real nature of their self, befitting their respective rasas, their glories, conveyances, seats, befitting their sacred service, and transcendental qualities of ornaments, enhancing the beauty of their real nature. And those who are advocates of Santaras attain the region of Brahma Paramatma, the seat of eternal peace. Those of Dasya Ras get the Vaikuntha, the spiritual majestic abode of Sri Narayana. Those of Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya Ras, juvenile love, attain Golokadham, Krishna's abode above Vaikuntha. They worship Krishna by the suktas depicted in the Vedas, with the ingredients and objects befitting their respective rasas. In those regions, the Vedas, under the influence of the spiritual potency, in certain passages speak of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. The liberated souls chant the name, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord under the guidance of the same spiritual potency. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Vis Tabirya Eva Nija Rupattaya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own Goloka with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confidentes. Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. Although the Lord Absolute and his potency are one and the self-same existence, still they exist eternally as separate entities as Radha and Krishna. In both the ecstatic energy and the transcendental Lord Krishna, there exists Sringara Ras, amorous love, whose quality is inconceivable. The Vaibhava extensions of the Ras mellow quality is twofold, viz. Alambana, prop, and Udipana, stimulation. Of these, Alambana is twofold, viz. Ashraya, supported, and Visaya, supporter. Ashraya signifies Radhika herself and the extensions of her own form, and Visaya means Krishna himself. Krishna is Govinda, Lord of Goloka. The gopis are the facsimile ashraya of the rasa. With them Krishna indulges in eternal pastimes in Goloka. Nija Rupataya means with the attributes manifested from the ecstatic energy. The 64 activities in fine arts and crafts are the following: Gita, art of singing; Vadya, art of playing on musical instruments; Nritya, art of dancing; Natya, art of theatricals; Alekhya, art of painting; Visesakechadya, art of painting the face and body with colored unguents and cosmetics; Tandula, Kusuma; Bali, Vikara, art of preparing offering from rice and flowers; Puspastarana, art of making a covering of flowers for bed; Dasana, Vasananga, Raga, art of applying preparations for cleaning the teeth, clothes and painting the body; Mani Bhumika Karna, art of making the groundwork of jewels; Saya, Rachana, art of covering the bed; Udaka, Vadya, art of playing on music in water; Udaka, Ghat, art of splashing with water; Chitra, yoga, art of practically applying an admixture of colors; Malya, Granthana, Vikalpa, art of describing; art of designing a preparation of wreaths. 16. Sekharapi, the yojana, art of practically setting the coronet on the head; Nepatya, yoga, art of practically dressing in the tiring room; Karnapatra Bhanga, art of decorating the tragos of the ear; Sugandha Yukti, art of practical application of aromatics; Bhushana Yojana, art of applying or setting ornaments; Aindra Jala, art of jugglery; Kauchumara, a kind of art; Hasta Laghava, art of slate and hand; Chitra Sakapupa, Bhakshya, Vikara, Kriyat, of art of preparing varieties of salad, bread, cake and delicious food; Panaka Ras, Ragasava Yojana, art of practically preparing palatable drinks and tinging draughts with a red color; Suchivaya, Karma, art of needleworks and weaving; Sutra Krida, art of playing with thread; Vina, Dumuraka, Vadya, art of playing on lute and small X-shaped drum; Prahelika, art of making and solving riddles; Pratimala, art of caping or reciting verse from verse as a trial for memory or skill; Durvachaka, yoga, art of practicing language difficult to be answered by others; Pustaka Vachana, art of reciting books; Natika Khyaka Darshana, art of enacting short plays and anecdotes; Kavya Samasya Purana, art of solving enigmatic verses; Patika, Vetra, Banda, Vikalpa, art of designing preparation of shield, cane and arrows; Tarku karma, art of spinning by spindle, Taksana, art of carpentry, Vastu Vidya, art of engineering, Ropya Ratna Pariksha, art of testing silver and jewels, Dhatu Vat, art of metallurgy, Manirag Jnana, art of tingling jewels, Akar Jnana, art of mineralogy, Vrikshayur Veda Yoga, art of practicing medicine and medical treatment by herbs, Mesa Kukuta Lavaka Yudha Vidhi, art of knowing the mode of fighting of lambs, cocks and birds, Sukha Sarika Pralana Pralapana, art of maintaining or knowing conversation between male and female cockatoos, Utsadana, art of healing or cleaning a person with perfumes, Kesa Marjana Kausala, art of combing hair, Aksara Mustika Kathana, art of talking with letters and fingers, Malachita Kutarka Vikalpa, art of fabricating barbarous of foreign sophistry, Desa Bhasa Jnana, art of knowing provincial dialects, Puspa Sakatika Nirmita Jnana, art of knowing prediction by heavenly voice or knowing preparation of toy carts by flowers, Yantra Matraka, art or mechanics, Dharana Matraka, art of the use of amulets, Samvachya, art of conversation, Manasi Kavya Kriya, art of composing verse mentally, Kriya Vikalpa, art of designing a literary work, a medical remedy, Sati Chalitaka Yoga, art of practicing, a builder of shrines called after him, Adhidhana, cause Chanda Gyan, art of the use of lexicography and meters, Vastra Gopana, art of concealment of clothes, Dyuta Visesa, art of knowing specific gambling, Akarshana Krida, art of playing with dice and magnet, Balaka Kridanaka, art of using children's toys, Vainayika Vidya, art of enforcing discipline, Vaijayika Vidya, art of gaining victory, Vaitaliki Vidya, art of awakening master with music at the dawn. All these arts, manifesting their own eternal forms, are ever visible in the region of Goloka as the ingredients of rasa, and in the mundane sphere they have been unstintingly exhibited in the pastimes of Vraja by the spiritual chit potency Yogamaya. Shri Rupa says, Sadanante Santi Ta, Krishna is ever manifest in his beauty with his infinite pastimes in Goloka. Sometimes the variant manifestation of those pastimes become visible on the mundane plane. Sri Hari, the Supreme Lord, also manifests his pastimes of birth, etc., accompanied by all his paraphernalia. The divine sportive potency fills the hearts of his paraphernalia with appropriate spiritual sentiments in conformity with the will of Krishna. Those pastimes that manifest themselves on the mundane plane are his visible pastimes. All those very pastimes exist in their non-visible form in Goloka beyond the ken of mundane knowledge. In his visible pastimes, Krishna sojourns in Gokula, Mathura and Dwarka. Those pastimes that are non-visible in those three places are visible in the spiritual sides of Vrindavan. From the conclusions just stated, it is clear that there is no distinction between the visible and non-visible pastimes. The Paushal Jiva Goswami, in his commentary on Sloka, as well as in the gloss of Ujjwala Nilamani and in Krishna Sandarbha, remarks that the visible pastimes of Krishna are the creation of his Chit, spiritual potency, being in conjunction with the reference to mundane function. They exhibit certain features which seem to be true by the influence of the limiting potency Maya, but these cannot exist in the transcendental reality. The destruction of demons, illicit paramouship, birth, etc. are examples of this peculiarity. The gopis are the extension of the ecstatic energy of Krishna, and so are exceptionally his own. How can there be illicit connection in their case? The illicit mistress-ship of the gopis found in his visible pastime is but the mundane reflection of the transcendental reality, the hidden meaning underlying the words of Srila Jiva Goswami when it is made explicit will leave no doubt in the minds of the readers. Srila Jiva Goswami is our preacher and transcendental truth. So, he is always under the influence of Sri Rupa and Sanatan. Moreover, in the pastimes of Krishna and Srila Jiva is one of the Manjaris, so he is conversant with all transcendental realities. There are some who, being unable to understand the drift of his statements, give meanings of their own invention and indulge in useless controversies. Sri Rupa and Sanatan said that there is no real and essential distinction between the Leelas, visible, non-visible. The only distinction lies in this, that one is manifest in the mundane sphere, whereas the other is not so. In the supermundane manifestation, there is absolute purity in the seer and the seen. A particularly fortunate person, when he is favored by Krishna, can shake off worldly shackles and connections, enter the transcendental region after attaining the realized taste of the varieties of rasa that is available during the period of novitiate. Only such a person can have a view of taste of the perfect and absolutely pure lila of Goloka. Such receptive natures are rarely to be found. He who exists in the mundane sphere can also realize the taste of Chit Ras by the grace of Krishna, by being enabled to attain the realized state of service. Such a person can have a view of the pastimes of Goloka manifested in the mundane lila of Gokula. There is certainly a difference between these two classes of eligible seekers of the truth. Until one attains the perfectly transcendental stage, he must be hampered by his lingering limitations in his vision of the pastimes of Goloka. Again, the vision of the transcendental reality varies according to the degree of self-realization. The vision of Goloka must also vary accordingly.